Good morning, it's August 8th. I'm going to look at the fescue project again. By the way, this fence, pretty much hate it. I'm going to take it down, put up just chain link. I don't really have any need for any more privacy because I like my neighbors, and there's just no reason for a privacy fence right here. So anyway, the grass has done pretty well this summer. I've been able to keep it very well watered. There's definitely sections where the grass is predominant and green. This is one of those areas where you can see the fescue looks really good. There's also a few tiny little weeds in here. The yard is full of thousands of weeds, so I haven't really been doing much weed pulling. I also have some, it appears to be a kind of monkey grass that is right here. I haven't really tried to do any eradication of that, and there's just not that much of it. But now if you look deeper into the yard, you can see that the yard has still maintained a lot of green, but you can definitely also see that there's also a lot of weeds in the yard. I still have the creeping bellflower, which hasn't changed much. There it is right there, the creeping bellflower. I've also got quite a lot of a different kind of weed. I haven't identified it yet, but it's this weed right here, and there's thousands of plants of that. I also have a lot of other types of grasses. For instance, right in here, this is definitely not the dense shade fescue. This is some broad bladed grass. But for the most part, the yard is the fescue. This is the back half of the yard. There's quite a bit of the bellflower back here too, but it's mostly fescue. And I've been able to keep it watered. The spots that you're seeing are mostly just little patches of where I wasn't able to get the straw up that well without pulling up a lot of water. There's my sprinkler. And this section is not quite so bad. You can see here there's a lot of weeds, but not terribly bad. Then over here in the right-hand corner of the yard, it's a different story. The weeds are the predominant growing item. There's a lot of another type of grass. There's more of that, whatever that broad bladed grass is. A tremendous amount of bellflower and a tremendous amount of this weed right here. And you can see that below it there's still some of the fescue that I planted, but very little. And then the right-hand corner is going to be a big problem. I'm going to have to completely redo this corner. I may even need to till it because frankly the fescue just didn't take, and there's just a lot of weeds. You can see there's briars up on the fence that I'm going to have to dig up. But in this corner, it doesn't drain, it doesn't hold the water very well, and it just was always dry this summer, and I just never did get a good take on the fescue. I do have a lot of greenery here though, but from this other type of grass, which I don't know what it is. And then here in the back, this was where the fescue at the beginning of the summer was growing the best, but as the summer has progressed, it's really dried out, especially in this spot right here that happens to be directly below this little magnolia tree that's in my neighbor's yard. I may see if I can get her to cut it down, but the fescue here completely died out and it's just bare earth. So after my first video, I had a person contact me and tell me that, first of all, it's really difficult to make fescue grow in the summer, which I already knew. I mean, I knew this was going to be a tough start, but I wanted to go ahead and start this year. The other thing is that this person said that mixing the Kentucky 31 with this Pennington Dense Shade Fescue he thought would be a big mistake, because he said that the Kentucky 31 is a much broader leaf than the fescue that I'm currently growing, and that it would look like weeds and just wouldn't look very good. And so now I'm torn. Do I need to stay with this dense shade, Pennington's Dense Shade Fescue, and overseed with that? And I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Do I want to overseed with that in October, or do I want to change over to the Kentucky 31 like I had originally planned after talking to an arborist, not an arborist, but a master gardener who thought that it would be a good mixture? I'm not sure now, and so I'm definitely going to be seeking some more advice about that. The other thing is I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing in terms of aeration, because at one point I was determined that I was going to aerate in October and put down grass seed, and I'm just not sure that this grass has established itself well enough to survive all the aeration, and maybe I just don't know enough about aeration yet. So I'll be seeking some advice about that. And I'm not sure about a weed and seed, if a weed and seed would take care of all these weeds, like this area right here is predominantly weeds, or if there's something else that I need to do to try to eradicate all these other weeds. Pulling them up by hand would be laborious, and I don't think I could possibly do it for 6,000 square feet. Stupid mosquitoes. But anyway, it's been a good project overall. I'm very pleased, considering that back in June, when I started, it was just all bare earth and there hadn't been any grass growing back here, and now it's quite enjoyable. It's a very lush and green backyard, and I'm just hoping to improve upon it. Thanks.